53 degrees, cloudy skies, AM 650, KJB Radio. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. For those callers who want to get in, hang on. I'm going to suspend open phones for just a moment because I forgot. But there she was sitting there in the lobby just patiently waiting here. So is Cassie from Wyoming Liberty Group is in because you missed last time around, right? I forget why.
Yeah, we had to reschedule. There was a bunch of craziness last week.
Yeah, okay.
We could come in.
That's all right. We got it all. Just kind of pull that up a little bit closer because I can't see. There you go. Now we can get you. So this week we're talking about what?
Well, I would love to talk about what we're going to do for education choice because we've got a plan.
Which is something that you and I are on the same page about. So this is going to be just like an education choice love fest here. It's going to be that simple. No, I mean, it really, as far as I'm concerned, some of the best states I've seen with the best, most well-educated kids had a choice for parents to decide. My local school, like I told you, my sister, don't ever tell her I said something nice about her, homeschooled her kids and did an incredible job doing it. But she had the choice to go wherever she wanted to go, which I would think, isn't that what a free society is supposed to be?
Exactly, Glenn. And kids need to have what's best for them, how they learn best.
Okay. So now where are we with education choice in the state of Wyoming now? What's the latest?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure you've heard about all the McCormick debacle and the bullying and stuff. Well, it goes a little deeper than that. What we're finding out is that the bullying that is being experienced isn't just by one group, for one. And also it seems to be kind of a systemic problem around Wyoming that we're starting to see. Parents are coming out of the woodwork now that they have that support. And so what we're going to try to do this year is have an ESA, so an Education Savings Account program designed specifically for students who have been bullied. Because think about that, Glenn. I mean, you're a child who comes from very low economic means. Your parents can't do anything better than public school for you. What if you had your $16,000 allotment given by the legislator on a debit card and you could go to private school? What if your learning environment, not only are you not learning, but there's a safety issue? And I think we have to start talking about this. And I know people get a little nervous, but Wyoming statistically has one of the highest suicide rates among youth in the entire country. And I think it's time to start talking about that.
Is there a reason when they talk about the suicide rates in the state of Wyoming, there's a lot of discussion as to why there's such a high suicide? You got to throw bullying into part of that, of course, right? Home life would be another part of it, but
I mean, we've brought it up on our Facebook page for the Liberty Group, just throwing it out there, and people get very up in arms. You know, don't blame the teachers. They're doing everything they can. Don't blame the schools. And we're not. But I think when you have a rate as high as ours is, we have to start looking at everything. What's going wrong with our kids? Are our kids feeling valued? Are they feeling inspired to move forward in their life? Clearly, that's not always the case. And so we have to start looking at all options of why.
So can we say, because the principal was let go of McCormick,
well, was he? That's an interesting question because the public records won't be released. And they are public records, by the way, but McCormick won't release them to say if he was terminated or if perhaps he was moved somewhere else in the district to a higher level, which I guess is the new theory.
So we don't know, but he could have just been transferred, but we don't know that.
Some of the media outlets that I've talked to are working on that and are pretty confident in saying that he was transferred to a different location. But it's important because those personnel decisions, they're only confidential to the extent that they're, you know, in an executive session discussing who should be hired or fired. Once the decision is made, the cloak of secrecy has to come off of that. And it seems that McCormick is having some pushback from the press on these issues.
So now with McCormick High School, I was wondering, I can't decide. It is an established fact that they have a bullying problem in McCormick, or is that covered up too?
It seems from the news I've read and from the outlets I've spoken with that they, too, like the Liberty Group, are getting parents coming forward saying, we reported things, it was not investigated, if it was, nothing was done, what's going on? And once these started coming out, all the parents realized there's a lot more of us than we ever thought. It wasn't just our kid that was having a problem. There was a lot of kids.
Okay. And again, I think this is one of the most important points you just make when you began here. It's not just one group. It's just in general, there's bullying going on. It could be anybody.
Yeah, and one that was really not too surprising to me because I'd spoken with many parents, not from McCormick necessarily, but across the state, children with disabilities, Glenn. And you're seeing it not just with the students, but with the teachers too, unfortunately.
Okay, now we did come out with, or I should say McCormick came out with, an action plan to handle this. Have you read that?
You know, I saw that they had posted that. I haven't read it yet. I'm more interested in seeing the bullying report that they won't release. And that is undoubtedly a public record. They're trying to claim that it is cloaked in secrecy because of FERPA, which is the Federal Protection for Children. But I spoke with Bruce Motes. It was in the paper last week. FERPA does not cover that. FERPA covers simple redactions.
FERPA sounds too much like FUBAR. Did you notice the similar between the two? And they kind of mean the same thing, right?
Basically, FERPA is just the federal law that protects a minor's identity when it's in the context of schools and things. You can't show kids' faces. You can't give their names. And you can't give out even identifying information that would help people figure out who it is. But a systematic bullying scheme that's going on and the number of reports and investigations, that's clearly a public record.
So we can say that they do use FERPA as FUBAR.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So now, having said this, what then? We have to go back, and I want to go ahead and run a commercial break here and get back to it. So this is what you get to think about for the next couple of minutes. Oh wait, let me grab a call real quick because I think this is probably on topic. This is Glenn. Do you have a question for our guest?
I do. Do you think a lot of this bullying is because of how the district gave raises to teachers and administration and cut support staff? That they cut custodians by 15%. That way they could save money for raises and stuff for these teachers' salaries. And they cut that, and these people used to roam the halls and check on this stuff. And from our statistics that we've seen throughout secondary support staff is that basically bullying goes up because you don't have those people roaming around. And I know that the school district hides lots of things between molestation and stuff because there hasn't been a school in our district that has not been targeted for that. And I just wondered if we pay teachers too much money and we're not paying the support staff enough money. I know they have a huge turnover rate in maintenance and stuff in the facilities management because they don't give benefits and they don't pay an adequate
All right, let me give her a chance to answer that. What do you think?
I don't necessarily think that we pay teachers too much. I think teachers need to be well paid. But what I've seen, I've done a public records request to all the schools in the state. And what we're seeing is a very top-heavy bureaucratic model. So that means you have a lot of administrators, superintendent, principals, assistant principals, et cetera, et cetera. I think that that's where a lot of the money is going, and it's not going in the classroom. And that leads to all sorts of problems, including our low proficiency rates, our low reading rates, which we know to be true, and perhaps bullying as well.
Okay, so your task over the next couple of minutes when I play commercial break is there's fixing the problem in-house or grabbing a voucher and going somewhere else. Should we be doing one or the other or both? More in just a moment. AM 650.
Frontier Outdoor Power, a local family-owned company, knows that when you're ready to spend the money, you expect quality equipment and a company you can trust. Frontier Outdoor Power serves Wyoming, northern Colorado, and western Nebraska with outdoor power equipment, snow and ice management equipment, Green Mountain grills, and pellets, plus a complete service and parts department. Come in and see some of our top brands: Grasshopper, Gravely, Cub Cadet, Skag, Echo, and more. Frontier Outdoor Power, located at 3005 Nationway in Cheyenne, just behind Oasis Car Wash and east of Kia Motors.
Life is too short not to be living it to its fullest. At Teton Therapy, we know that pain doesn't just affect you, but your loved ones too. If aches, soreness, or pains are preventing you from doing the things you want and need to do, come in today for a free consultation. Teton Therapy offers complete therapeutic care for a wide range of injuries and conditions. To learn more about how we can help you today, visit us at 1507 Stillwater Avenue behind Walgreens on Del Range, or go online to tetontherapypc.com to schedule your free consultation.
When you're having trouble expressing your feelings, flowers say it best. Hi, this is Jane with Bouquets Unlimited. We specialize in expressing words with flowers. You can choose from our extensive line of bouquets that will express your thoughts, whether you're sending happy thoughts, many thanks, or your love. Flowers say it best. Stop by 5709 Yellowstone Road. Bouquets Unlimited. Very simply, the very best.
Flowers and gifts, you know. Call 637-ROSE. Bouquets Unlimited.
High West Energy and the Greater Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce are proud to support our military. All active duty military, Guard, and Reserves and their families are invited to a military appreciation barbecue on Saturday, May 18th at High West Energy at 3302 I-80 Service Road from 10 to 2 for hamburgers, hot dogs, and wings. Enjoy a barbecue lunch and let your kids have fun with a bouncy house, balloon animals, face painting, and more. This event is open to the public and is free for all active duty military, Guard, and Reserves and their families.
Find out what's going on in Cheyenne with local news updates at the top of each hour. Cheyenne's #1 News Talk Radio, AM 650 KGAB.
8:19 is the time. It's AM 650 KGAB. With me is Cassie. She's with Wyoming Liberty Group. We're talking about McCormick High School, but also school choice in general. So we probably have a problem here with a local high school where, again, it's not a particular group that's being bullied. That's interesting to me to have you say that, but it could be just all across the board. So do parents then get involved, or do they grab a voucher? Now, I'll tell you what I think, and then you tell me where I'm wrong here. What I think is that if I'm a parent, then what I do is I go to the school and do all I can to make changes. And if I find them just beating my head against a wall, then I grab my voucher.
If you find you're beating your head against a wall, you should call the Liberty Group, first of all, because it's very important that if any parents are experiencing this, if any kids are experiencing this, that we can band together so that we can go to the legislator collectively and say, hey, something's got to change, something's got to give here. Okay. But I think it's very important to have a constellation of providers in education. The public school system is critical. I mean, that's a huge part of it, and no matter how many vouchers that you enact, there's still going to be kids and families that want to, be on the local football team and be in that public school, and there's some history there, and that's fine. We have to improve those and make those safe for kids. That's step one. But step two is the rule of law, and I think that's important because kids are allowed equal access and opportunity in education. So if they are not getting the model that fits them, if they are not safe, if they cannot learn in that environment, then constitutionally they should be allowed to have that funding to be able to go to the school of their choice that fits them best.
Okay, now we've done this before, but let's make sure people hear it who haven't heard it from you before. So there are some who say, well, then they send their kid to some Christian school and separation of church and state, so you can't send your money there.
That's actually an interesting issue. A lot of people think that it's been litigated in the majority of the states across the country. That Blaine Amendment is what you're referring to. And many courts have upheld that there's no causal connection between the tax dollars and the Christian school. We'll use that as an example because there's an intervening factor, and that's the parent and student's choice. They get the money, they get the tax dollars, and from there they get to choose where to allocate their money. Because don't forget, that money belongs to that child. It's not tax dollars anymore, just willy-nilly to be used. Once it's given through the ESA program, it belongs to that student. And when the student makes an independent choice, that breaks the causal connection between church and state.
Are you finding it relatively easy or hard? I mean, let's take a look at school choice in the state of Wyoming. Right. Do we have it? Do we need it? How hard is it to get it?
We have it, but we don't have access to it. And that's where the constitutional thing comes into play.
Isn't that like not having it?
Basically, effectively, because what you end up having is a systematic problem where only the rich kids get to decide where to go, and that's not fair, Glenn. The only chance that the poor kids have, I guess, is to go to a place like Poder, which is technically public schooling still. It's a charter school, but not every community has that. And even at Poder, there's long waiting lists to get in because the kids are doing so great and parents want to send their kids there. So you have a really big hurdle for the kids who are typically of minority, of lower socioeconomic wealth. They are at a disadvantage because they don't have the access and the opportunity to engage in choices. And I think once we open up the law a little more, you'll see more people coming in. You'll see more private school options. You'll see more charter schools if we make that law a little better. So we could expand the choice that we have. But I don't mean to say we don't have opportunities here, because we do. But it's not a good opportunity if a kid can't get there.
Okay, so there's some town way out in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming, which of course is most towns in Wyoming, and they have one tiny little public school, and that's all that's available. So are they going to get an opportunity for a public school or a private school, anything like charter school, anything like that out in the middle of nowhere? Is anybody going to show up and give them that opportunity?
I think we'd have to look toward the model I've discussed before on your show, Idaho, I believe it is, that has hubs, is what they call them. And they're typically in a town away, and that child will do like a homeschooling or virtual schooling sort of model if they want to get out of the public system. But they're allowed to come into this hub to get guidance counselor support and to test out of courses and to get extra tutoring. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, because we do have to cater to that rural population. That's what we are going.
And when you say that, one of the things I also think about is a lot of these small towns still have little local libraries, which would make a perfect little hub.
They really would.
Yeah.
And you're seeing kids in those states take full advantage of college credits. They're graduating 2-year colleges by the time they're 18, in all reality. I mean, kids can be very much advantaged from this system, and isn't that what we want? I mean, we've focused so much time on taking money away from the public school system, but at the end of the day, isn't the goal just to educate these kids in the best way possible and to set them up for the best future possible? I think as long as we're doing that, that's all that the conversation needs to be.
More in just a moment. AM 650 KGAB.
Many families have a video tribute as a part of a funeral remembrance to capture the memories of a lifetime of love.
The sadness of losing Mom is overwhelming, but seeing those photographs was a tribute to her lifetime of love.
We serve every need within every budget. Call on us.
Lifetime of love.
Memories of a Lifetime of Love. Schrader, Aragon, and Jacoby Funeral Home.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like to participate in stock market gains, but never the stock market loss? Join Al Martinez for the Retirement Income with Al Martinez show on Saturdays from 6 to 7 a.m. You can also call Al Martinez now for your complimentary customized retirement and income kit and 115-page retirement and income book at 888-418-3358. That's 888-418-3358.
There's a new name for windows and doors that I want you to remember. Gray Rock. Gray Rock Windows and Doors. Family owned and family operated. Log on to grayrockwindow.com. Read their vision statement, then schedule an appointment. They're Wyoming's exclusive Vanguard dealer. With Vanguard and Gray Rock, the difference is clear. Gray Rock Windows and Doors. grayrockwindow.com. That's grayrockwindow.com.
Hiring? Aren't you tired of hoping the right candidates see your job posts and apply? It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Instead of waiting for great candidates to find you, ZipRecruiter finds qualified candidates for you and invites them to apply. Then its powerful technology reviews every application and even spotlights the top candidates, which means you never miss a great match. So instead of hoping you find that needle in the haystack, ZipRecruiter finds it for you. And hiring is a whole lot easier.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Human history has shown anything is possible with inspiration and hard work. The 4-minute mile, a man on the moon, a water skiing squirrel, and now sirloin steak burritos from Taco John's.
Sirloin steak burritos are back at Taco John's. Stuffed with hand-carved sirloin steak and bold flavors like the melty, savory grilled cheese steak burrito, plus steak and shrimp or steak and potato olays. And for the morning, 2 steak and egg breakfast burritos. Sirloin steak burritos are back, but only for a limited time. Olay the Day at Taco John's.
Back to KGAB's Wyoming Wake Up with Glenn Woods on AM 650 KGAB.
8:28 is the time. It's AM 650 KGAB Radio. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Cassie's with me from Wyoming Liberty Group. We're talking about McCormick School and also the idea of school voucher programs. And as Wyoming Liberty Group, you guys have been working on this for a little while. So, yeah, I mean, quite a few years. I think you've been working on the whole homeschool and school choice thing. Mm-hmm. So do you have anything to offer next? I know it's a budget session, next legislative session, or what is the Wyoming Liberty Group going to do to push the issue?
2 things. The first will be legislation that enacts ESA programs specifically for students who are victims of bullying. That's the first thing. The second thing is refining the charter school application process. We have found out that the school districts who technically authorize the charters, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they're basically taking their money and taking their students, are sometimes a little hard on these charter schools. Isn't that funny?
It just seems like maybe they don't want them to start in the first place.
It might seem that way.
Yeah, enough paperwork and enough just frustration, and they'll quit.
Exactly, and the application has to be every so many years, but they have some discretion and can make it sooner, and they always make it sooner. And the application is about a foot thick, literally a foot thick. These administrators, who, by the way, in charter schools, you typically see not the level of bureaucracy that you see in the public school system. I mean, they have one principal. That's all that they can afford, you know.
Yeah.
So you're putting a lot of burden on those administrators to get all this paperwork done, and the paperwork's pretty much null and void. It's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
And the waiver process, if they get a waiver granted, that's not an automatic re-granting. They have to go through all these hoops every time.
I don't see why it couldn't be like a 2-page application, but that's a whole nother topic. This is going to be posted on the Wyoming Liberty Group website, probably ours too. Where do people follow your work at?
yliberty.org, please. And like I said, reach out to us if you have any stories. We're interested in talking to you. We'll keep everything confidential, but we just want to start getting more knowledge about what's going on the ground. You can always donate, sign up for our membership list, and be more actively involved.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Glenn.